yeah, it's on the back of his.
Well, what Charlie did was he put up a load of photos in his office,
Yeah.
at a really pissed angle, and just it looked like Stevie Wonder had come in and put them up for him.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, someone also rode a motorbike in there, so yeah, that must have been a bit of a shock for him as well.
Yeah,
And Son,
the man with a business with only one client. You know, you couldn't make it up, could you?
You couldn't, no.
but Son was crucial, right, for both of those goals. So he had the assist for the Højbjerg goal, which he then passed really nicely into the net,
Yep.
and then he made the target own goal.
He did.
So because that pass, if he hadn't got it, then Mora would have just tapped it in. There's nothing really that the target could have done about that.
No, there wasn't. But what was great about that winner was that he got the ball, because obviously it was chipped over by Reggie, and he got the ball, and Konsa, who I think is a really good defender, got into a really good position to stop Sonny going forward. But Sonny just put on the afterburners, and it just went. And I just thought, blimey, what can you do about that? You can't do anything about it, can you?
No, even the Villa manager, just at the end of the match, just gave him a hug and just chuckled, basically, just like, you were unplayable today, son.
Yeah, he was. And he's just a brilliant player for us, and just so pleased that, we get to see him, really. We're lucky to have him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So what do you two make of Kane at the moment, in terms of the impact that he's having and his body language on the pitch? And he's gone from being our main man to being a player that,
well, arguably Sonny's more crucial at the moment, isn't he? But
he always I think Sonny always has been, hasn't he? When Kane gets his sort of annual 6, 7, 8 week injury, Sonny always seems to step up to the plate, and the team just sort of carries on as is. But obviously when Sonny's injured, you can see, we're missing the equivalent of 2 players on the pitch when Son's not playing.
Sorry, go on, Andy.
I was just going to say, I just think with Harry, maybe he's trying a bit too hard. So he's had 6 games, because he hasn't played the full Premiership roster yet, but because he missed the first game. But he's had 6 games where he hasn't scored a Premier League goal, and you could see yesterday, especially with that long halfway line kind of chip, he was trying to score, and also later on in the game, he tried to ridiculously chip the keeper from a tight angle. And you can see he's desperate to score.
Yeah, he looked more like his old self, didn't he?
He did, but there were a couple of occasions when he could have passed the ball and he didn't, because he wanted to score.
Yeah.
And you do feel there's something kind of going on with him where he's kind of beating himself up a bit, and he's not 100% happy with the situation.
I don't mind
that
though,
might be
Andy,
a good thing.
Because the strikers are greedy, right? They've got to be, especially at that level. So for me, I don't really mind that at all. But I thought Sunday, he looked sharper.
Yeah.
He looked like he wanted to score a goal. It looked like he probably would score a goal. And I think he was exceptionally unlucky. I mean, not just the chip, but there were a couple of times he was in on goal. He really should have scored.
He should.
But, he didn't. But that possibly, I don't know, maybe an element of his lack of confidence, because he hadn't scored for 6 previous games in the Premiership. I don't know. But it is coming. And I think once he gets off the mark, he'll be flying again. I think he's probably looked to me on Sunday that he had kind of, whatever demons he'd had before that, he'd laid that and just thought, right, let's just get on with it. Let's just get on with it now.
Yeah, I think that's what he's got to do. He does just need to get on with it. And it was a better game by him. I think what was also good, Jamie, just coming back to your question, is that Harry was staying up front a bit more, not coming deep that much. He was, just staying in position. So I think that helped keep their defenders back, because they play with a back 3. And so it did create a bit more space in midfield. Because I think when he comes into midfield, he can be very good, but he can also lose the ball. So it's,
He had a sublime... I was going to say, he did a sublime back heel as well, Kane.
That was amazing.
To Lo Celso, who again should have just put his foot through it and buried that one.
Like he did against Mura.
It would have been out of sight of the game then.
It would.
But I mean, was a really beautiful back heel.
Just one thing I will mention is, why do we keep lumping the ball up to Kane? He's not a target man. The amount of times that back four or Skip or Højbjerg,
it's a tactic.
They'll lump the ball up
to Kane. It's the Nuno tactic.
But he never brings the ball under. Very, very rarely brings the ball under control.
Well, especially against three centre halves, I don't know how he's going to do it.
I mean, look at the size of fucking Tyrone Mings. He's about 6'5", isn't he? Kane's got no chance at 6'1".
Yeah.
Although I did see that Moura did actually out-jump Mings on Sunday.
Yeah, Moura is amazing in the air.
Yeah,
Moura is amazing in the air. I don't know how he does it, but you're right. It's a Nuno tactic. He's used it everywhere where he likes the long ball. So you try and pick up the second ball from the either the defender's header or the attacker's header. But it's just not really a style of play that obviously most people like, because it's a bit kind of Sam Allardyce, isn't it? Get people around the header.
I mean, that works when you've got the likes of Peter Crouch up front that can, bring the ball under control every day of the week and then lay it off and starts the attack. But, we have so many balls that are wasted just by lumping it up front, just for Kane to nod it on to no one, or for the defender to snatch the ball from him.
Maybe that's why we've been looking for another striker to play alongside him, to be that person, the foil. But the other thing is we've transitioned our game where Kane used to play a lot deeper, right? He used to drop deep. He did that for a bit, but he seems to be less so now. We're trying to hit him with those, so it's maybe taking him a bit of time to adjust. Maybe that's one of the reasons why he's not scoring.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not so sure. I think he's pretty good as a target man, Kane, but he's obviously not your Andy Carroll type. He's not. He doesn't head the ball on exactly the same. But I think most players in our team like ball to feet, don't they? I mean, that's exactly how you can keep more control, and it's what the fans want to see more of. So
again, I think they talk about the long ball tactics. I think it comes back to what I mentioned earlier about needing a player like the likes of Luka Modric that can just sit there in front of the back four, pick the ball up, and play those sort of balls into Kane that Kane can actually utilise and make the most of. Because that appears to be a fundamental flaw from my sort of perspective. And Kane must. I mean, when I played up front for my office team, and probably about 10, 15 years ago, because I'm 6'3", every fucker was lumping the ball up to me, just just to head it. It's like he's big,
until they realised you couldn't play.
There. Do you know what? I was actually quite a good player, but I just didn't like the ball being played into my head. I preferred the ball into my feet, and I think Kane isn't that sort of player that can dominate like a Fernando Llorente, for example. That's probably a poor example, but he's a player that he's good in the air, a bit like Biggles, good in the air, and that's what you expect from a player like that. But
more like Douglas Bader.
Who?
Andy got that reference anyway.
Yeah, I got the reference. Yeah. We can go through all the war pilots if you like.
Yeah. Talking about ball to feet, though, I don't know if it's a bit of a hyperbole on my part, but I thought when Ndombele got that ball and then turned about three players inside out and got a shot away, if that had gone in, that would have been comparable to the Salah goal, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, exactly. Yeah, in fact, potentially better because he cut in. Yeah, I thought the Salah goal was.
But he would have got a better mention, whereas the Salah one will get a Sky Sports special.
Oh yeah, there's a separate channel now. Yeah, a box office to watch it over and over again. Yeah.
Do you know what you mentioned, Lee, about Ndombele not being in his prime, but I think it would be really telling of Ndombele where if he could turn three players inside out and as he runs off with the ball towards the goal, the defenders or midfielders on the other team, actually their kits are inside out all of a sudden. So he just spins before you know it. Their pants are on the outside of their shorts and their t-shirts sort of back to front. I think that would be fucking brilliant, wouldn't it? And everyone's just stood there going, what the fuck just happened? What did he do?
And their balls are all twisted and everything,
wrapped around their necks.
Yeah, that's it.
Maybe Nuno should suggest that as a tactic. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, really.
That would be brilliant. Yeah,
Tasmanian devil, basically.
Yeah.
Or he picks up the ball, he turns and spins, and suddenly he's laced all of their players' boots together, and there's 11 players on the pitch in the middle of it, just all tied together, and
all their laces tied together.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a night out actually I had once where a couple of friends of mine who listen to this pod sometimes, we were out at the stadium, and this was like one of the very first games the stadium opened, and they got so wasted. On the way back they were falling asleep, so me and a friend of mine, Chris, tied their laces together, and it was their platform, like the train pulled into the station. We said, it's your station. So they got up, and the two of them were falling over each other trying to get off. They were so wet. And then on the platform, the train's going, and some woman sitting by the side of us, she was laughing her head off because the two of them couldn't stand up. They were falling over each other because they couldn't quite work out what was happening to them. Their laces were tied together, and they were just like, it was
brilliant,
absolute comedy gold.
But now you've said that, Lee, you have to name names.
Well, Kurt and Dan, they know who they are anyway. So yeah, Kurt's Dan's Dane Spurs, I think he is on Twitter.
Name and shame. Right, brilliant.
Yeah, that's it. So they're done.
Yeah, we'll tweet that out later so everybody's got that.
Yeah. Honestly, they were. It was the funniest thing you've ever seen.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
So did we have any points that we wanted to bring up? You said you had some.
Yes, I did. Yeah, I had there's some interesting comments on from Eric Dyer actually. Maybe he has to say this, but maybe not. He just recently, some of the comments were that they 100% believe in what Nuno's plan is. He said we have to keep calm. We've got a tough couple of weeks under difficult circumstances that they've had. He says, for me, it doesn't really matter about the circumstances, as the players have to perform, and there are some levels you can't drop below. And we definitely did last weekend. I think he's referring to the Arsenal game. And that has nothing to do with the manager. Obviously, we want to be winning football matches and playing good football like we did yesterday, but that takes time, and we're beginning a new phase under a new manager. It's still early, and those things take time to implement. We are definitely working towards that, which is positive to hear. And yet you got the contrast with the Athletic, Ornstein saying that actually Levy's put a sack clause in for Nuno's contract.
I don't know how Ornstein would know that.
No. Well, the club have denied it. So you've got players that are saying we're 100% behind him, and we know it's going to take time, and this is a new phase under this manager. And Ornstein and a few others are saying actually the club, put clauses in to sack him as soon as he doesn't start doing well.
The thing is, what's Ornstein trying to get out of that, though? I don't understand. I know he obviously wants to sell newspapers and all that crap, but what is the actual benefit of that story? I don't see who benefits from that story at all.
No. I mean,
well, they probably get a pound a month from people just logging on, subscribing.
Yeah.
Sorry, bloody hell. bit of a cough there, but I mean, he's an Arsenal supporter as well, isn't he, Ornstein?
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
apparently so. Yeah.
But the thing is, ultimately, there may well be a clause in the contract, but Daniel Levy's probably got the top legal guy in the fucking country to hide all sorts of manner of things, all over the place. And
you don't really need a clause in a 2-year contract. So if at the end of the year we don't get top 6, then they bin him.
Well,
don't need
this is
don't all contracts have a termination clause anyway? So it's what's the big deal?
Andy, we've got one in your contract for the pod, and it's going to come to an end in about 15 minutes. So
right.
But I mean.
Well, thanks for dropping that on me, Jamie. That's
no worries at all. Your legal team obviously didn't pick up on that, but I mean, in terms of Dyer talking about having a plan, I mean, how the fuck can you have a plan when you've only got a manager that's got a 2-year contract? This is the the thing that's bugging me. I mean, not many teams give managers a 2-year contract.
No, it's quite rare.
It's seen as a very, very short-term appointment. Generally, you're looking at a 3-year minimum, aren't you?
It is. It's not a vote of confidence. That's the problem, isn't it? And we all know that Pochettino's contract comes up. I think is it this January or was it next summer?